I think I can make this work with the light on directly above. It's going to create a little bit more shadow than I like, but I also want to be able to see what I'm looking at. I just received this package from Germany, and I'm very excited to take a look at what's inside. Oh, yeah. This was a little simpler to get into than I anticipated. I think it's a couple of years ago now that I took a look at The Straightway Lost. And this is a new book from the same creators. This is Serenissima Obscura, a city of shadow and light, setting guide and modular adventure compatible with 5e and other RPGs. Let's see if I can make any of this. Nope, not with the light on. So this was sent to me to review. Don't cut towards yourself, kids. And I'm going to try to do that as soon as possible. But I thought I would do a quick look. This kickstarted last year, or I'm sorry, this did some kind of crowdfunding. I don't remember which one. Now I'm going to sit down and hopefully we'll be able to take a look at this. But it did some kind of crowdfunding last year. I don't remember which one. Let me see if I tilt this, if it's going to create too much problem. I don't think it's too bad. Beneath dark waters and ancient power stirs. It is the year 1507, and it is the time of discovery, the return of magic, and the emergence of the hidden peoples. Now, that was something that The Straightway Lost did that I thought was interesting. It was a magical, sort of secretively magical version of Florence. And this takes place a little after, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a little bit since I looked at this, but I believe it takes place a little after the events of The Straightway Lost, but in Venice. And I don't think you need to have run one in order to run the other. I believe they are completely, they can stand alone just fine, from what I understand. You might want to look at The Straightway Lost, the Magical Renaissance Conversion Guide for Ars Magica, and the Magical Renaissance Player's Guide for 5e. And those are, I believe, other products all from I never get it right. Vortex Verlag. I can't read or write. Oh my goodness! Look at this map. I want to make sure that it's showing up. That is so cool. Venice is just a city that I absolutely love, and so when I found out that they were working on this book, I was very excited. I've been to Venice now twice. Look, it's obviously there's a lot of problems in the world, and there's a lot of problems with over-tourism, and I always like to travel on the... Okay, there's a little glare. I just want to make sure that you can still sort of see what's in here. But I like to travel as much as possible on the so-called shoulder seasons or the off-season, when I try to be as little of a nuisance as I can be. But I will say that I loved Venice. I would go back tomorrow if I could. And if it wasn't such a tourist mecca, it's the kind of place, it's really very much the kind of place I would love to live. Although, because of various circumstances, you got to have a ton of money to actually live in the old part of Venice, and I don't. So what do we have? I know this is not the high quality. I'm going to work on lighting, maybe. Let's see. We have Introduction, The Magic Renaissance, Chapter 1, The Mystical World, Chapter 2, The World in 1492 to 1507, Chapter 3, The Republic of Venice, Chapter 4, City Layout and Everyday Life, and Chapter 5, Setlets. Setlet. I'll take a look at what that is. So, Setting Guide to the Magical Renaissance. Now, I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but this is black print on a yellow background. It's a touch dark for my tastes, but it's not bad. Like, I'm not having a hard time reading the words. I'm not sure how much I'll want to do at one time. You know, my old eyes don't do great on a lot of these things anymore. But you can see it's got some very cool art, very evocative art. I'm going to try to get it to a place where it can be seen. Oh, thank you, shadow of my phone. I wonder if this light can get any better. Maybe if I put it off to the side here. I don't even know if that's doing anything. Okay. Here we have the Republic of Venice. I don't want to show too much here. I'm going to go through and do a review. There's a ton of information. Now, if I remember correct, or if it is done in any sort of similar way to The Straightway Lost, much of the book is essentially system agnostic. So a lot of it is information. The Straightway Lost was like a campaign based on the Divine Comedy by Dante, and most of it, as you're reading through it, it's like, oh, this whatever system you want to run the game in it's going to work. And my first thought while I was reading it was Ars Magica, and I like that they've actually done a lot of work specifically for Ars Magica with this. That's, I believe, available through their website. I am assuming. And if it remains similar, I think it will be useful for whatever your home system might be. I'm going to see if I can find art. That's what I'm kind of looking for here. Nice. But I found it to be I found that one to be a very interesting campaign, and this sounds even more interesting to me. I do think, if I remember correctly, and again, it's been a while since I read up on this, and I probably should have before doing this little unboxing, but I didn't. I think this is designed to be a little more modular as a campaign. Game Master's Guide. Now, the Straightway Lost had some basically like ways to house rule in some of the kin that D&D has that don't necessarily fit. In as much as any of it fits in medieval Europe, but in a fantastical medieval Europe, I thought they did a really good job of working in the. I can never remember what they're called. The infernal characters. They're super popular now. I don't even think they were playable when I was, when I played some D&D back in the day. But now 5th edition, I think they came in 4th edition or something. But anyway, whatever those group are, there's a reason why they are involved in the Straightway Lost, and I think that they can be in this campaign as well. So this all looks very cool. Now, see, like usually I'm not a big fan of white text on dark background, but because I think it's not a black background, that doesn't look as like eye-watering. Like I'm just actually on the purple, that's relatively readable. Like when you look at like the Alien, and the blue is the same way. When you look at the Alien rule book, the first edition of the Alien rule book, I found that white text on the black background to just be absolutely murder on the eyes, but this doesn't look bad. Call me basic. I'm an old man. I like black text on white background, but I understand there's different folks like different things. I know there are people who love the white text on the dark background. I'm not one of them, but I'm old. Oh, cool. Looks like we've got some handouts, maybe. It's like some some prayers or something. So anyhow, yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited to take a look at this. I'm really excited to dig in and give this a read. I enjoy. Oh, a shadow Venice. Nice. See, I read up on this when I was first approached about doing an interview, and I read up on it at that time, and then because I got sidetracked with a million other things, I hadn't really gotten back around to it. So now, like, things are coming back to me, and I'm like really, really jazzed to dive into this. So, great. I really do I like the art a lot. Yeah, I think if I thought that at some point I might, it's also a nice, like, sort of a matte cover. I like that. If I thought I was going to actually get Ars Magica to the table, I would probably invest in all the Ars Magica stuff for this, but I just don't see that happening, unfortunately, as much as I love Ars Magica and I would love to get it to the table again. Boy, that's cool. Yeah, anyway, I love Venice, and I love the idea of this sort of dark, fantastical version of Renaissance Venice. I think could be really neat. Yeah, very excited. So I'm going to try to read this coming up. I will put a review. Eventually, I'll try to link it in the doobly-doo below, and we'll see how it goes. So, all right. I do want to point out, because I'm seeing it and I didn't show it off, that this book does have a ribbon. There we go. So we do have a ribbon. For you folks looking at physical copies of it, that is important to know. I do love a ribbon. Oh, man. I love Venice. Man, I got to go back. Very excited. Very excited to check this out. Okay. I don't know. I think this top-down view worked okay. Got to work on the lighting. But anyhow, until next time, we'll see whatever I've got next. Take care.